All right, so we're still reading other people's mail. They're ancient Roman citizens, so they can't really sue me. This is epistle 22 of Cyprian to the clergy abiding at Rome, concerning many of the confessors, and concerning the forwardness of Lucian and the modesty of Cellerinus the confessor. This is in response to epistles 20 and 21. So please refer to those for some context. Argument. In this letter, Cyprian informs the Roman clergy of the seditious demand of the lapsed to be restored to peace, and of the forwardness of Lucian, in order that they may better understand these matters. Cyprian takes care that not only his own letters, but also those of Cellerinus and Lucian should be sent to them. Cyprian to the presbyters and deacons abiding at Rome, his brethren, greeting. After the letters that I wrote to you, beloved brethren, in which what I had done was explained, and some slight account was given of my discipline and diligence, there came another matter which, any more than the others, ought not to be concealed from you. For our brother Lucian, who himself also is one of the confessors, earnest indeed in faith and robust in virtue, but little established in the reading of the Lord's word, has attempted certain things, constituting himself for a time an authority for unskilled people, so that certificates written by his hand were given indiscriminately to many persons in the name of Paulus, whereas Mapolycus the martyr, cautious and modest, mindful of the law and discipline, wrote no letters contrary to the gospel, but only moved with domestic affection for his mother, who had fallen, commanded peace to be given to her. Saturninus, moreover, after his torture, still remaining in prison, sent out no letters of this kind. But Lucian, not only while Paulus was still in prison, gave everywhere in his name certificates written with his own hand, but even after his decease, persisted in doing the same things under his name, saying that he had been commanded by Paulus, ignorant that he must obey the Lord rather than his fellow servant. In the name also of Aurelius, a young man who had undergone the torture, many certificates were given, written by the hand of the same Lucian, because Aurelius did not know how to write himself. In order, in some measure, to put a stop to this practice, I wrote letters to them, which I have sent to you under the enclosure of the former letter, in which I did not fail to ask and persuade them that consideration might be had for the law of the Lord and the gospel. But after I sent my letters to them, that, as it were, something might be done more moderately and temperately, the same Lucian wrote a letter in the name of all the confessors, in which well nigh every bond of faith and fear of God and the Lord's command and the sacredness and sincerity of the gospel were dissolved. For he wrote in the name of all that they had given peace to all, and that he wished that this decree should be communicated through me to the other bishops, of which letter I transmitted a copy to you. It was added, indeed, of whom the account of what they have done since their crime has been satisfactory, a thing this which excites a greater odium against me, because I, when I have begun to hear the cases of each one and to examine into them, seem to deny to many what they are all boasting that they have received from the martyrs and confessors. Finally, this seditious practice has already begun to appear, for in our province, through some of its cities, an attack has been made by the multitude upon their rulers, and they have compelled that peace to be given to them immediately, which they all cried out has been once given to them by the martyrs and confessors. Their rulers, being frightened and subdued, were of little avail to resist them, either by vigor of mind or by strength of faith. With us, moreover, some turbulent spirits, who in time past were with difficulty governed by me, and were delayed till my coming, were inflamed by this letter as if by a firebrand, and began to be more violent, and to extort the peace granted to them. I have sent a copy to you of the letters that I wrote to my clergy about these matters, and moreover, what Caldonius, my colleague, of his integrity and faithfulness wrote, and what I replied to him, I have sent both to you to read. Copies also of the letter of Cellerinus, the good and stout confessor, which he wrote to Lucian, the same confessor. Also, what Lucian replied to him, I have sent to you, that you may know both my labor in respect of everything and my diligence, and might learn the truth itself, how moderate and cautious is Cellerinus the confessor, and how reverent both in his humility and fear for our faith. While Lucian, as I have said, is less skillful concerning the understanding of the Lord's word, and by his facility is mischievous on account of the dislike that he causes for my reverential dealing. For while the Lord has said that the nations are to be baptized in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Ghost, and their past sins are to be done away in baptism, this man, ignorant of the precept and of the law, commands peace to be granted and sins to be done away in the name of Apollos. And he says that this was commanded him by Apollos, as you will observe in the letter sent by the same Lucian to Cellerinus, in which he very little considered that it is not martyrs that make the gospel, but that martyrs are made by the gospel. Since Paul also, the apostle whom the Lord called a chosen vessel unto him, laid down in his epistle, I marvel that ye are so soon removed from him that called you into the grace of Christ unto another gospel, which is not another, but there be some that trouble you, and would pervert the gospel of Christ. But though we or an angel from heaven preach any other gospel unto you than that which we have preached unto you, let him be accursed. As we have said, so say I now again, if any man preach any other gospel unto you than that ye have received, let him be accursed. But your letter, which I received, written to me, my clergy, came opportunely, as also did those which the blessed confessors Moses and Maximus, Nicostratus, and the rest sent to Saturninus and Aurelius, and the others, in which are contained the full rigor of the gospel and the robust discipline of the law of the Lord. Your words much assisted me as I labored there, and withstood with the whole strength of faith the onset of ill will, so that my work was shortened from above, and that before the letters which I last sent you reached you, you declared to me that according to the gospel law your judgment also strongly and unanimously concurred with mine. I bid you, brethren, beloved and longed for, ever heartily farewell.